You're welcome. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome.
Once again, I want to say a very big thank you for the opportunity given to me as a young lady, and this is what we want to be given a safe space where we can speak out issues that are affecting us.
Oh,
So I'm so happy right now. So well, guys, I'll be talking about violence against women and hope we all listen keenly and ask questions if we don't understand anything. I wanted to be, like interactive. So I'm not gonna make it long because sometimes people get bored from that. So it's gonna be short and simple, you know. All right, so firstly, when they talk about sexual gender based violence against women, firstly we wanna be like what comes to our mind. So we were defined sexual different, gender different, violence different, and then we can be able to combine it, and then we can get a full definition of it. So sexual is intimate physical contact between individuals, and then gender it refers to characteristics of women, men, girls, and then violence has to do with physical force, intended to hurt somebody, or kill someone. So the full definition of sexual gender-based violence, it refers to any act that is perpetrated against a person's will and is based on gender norms and on equal power relationships. So I will talk about the causes of violence against women, the effects, and then how can we prevent that? How can we stop it from happening? So, sexual gender based violence is something that is happening around the world, most especially in Liberia, because this is where we're from. So we know more about here than other, country. So it is something that is harmful for us women. It is something that stop us from doing certain things a lady should do. It is something that stop us from going some places. So we'll start with causes of violence against women. First, the first cause of these things happening, it has to do with alcohol. Alcohol causes men to be violent in the sense where, for instance, if I'm married and where the man will go out, drink, and that to the extent that there's no control, there's no more self-control, he will get drunk, comes home, and at the end of the day, if I just ask some simple question, it becomes a problem. you know or sometimes I may not even ask a question, but the moment he comes home, because of the alcohol, he feels that I'm a beating drum or something, that he should just slap, take bottle, beat me away in any kind of way. So alcohol can lead to the causes of violence. Another one is witnessing violence in homes, communities, or media. Like for instance, you have different kinds of people living in different communities. So for instance, you would say, this is my child. For example, we are like five in a house, and then the mom, the pa, the brother, the sister, and that of maybe auntie or cousin, somebody relative there, where the man know every time he beats on his wife and his kids. So because I'm a boy coming up, I feel like I grew up in a home where every day my mom will come home, my pa comes from work, and then he would beat on my mother. I feel like, well, then I think this is the best way to come up when I get married to, or if I have a serious relationship, I should be beating on the same gender, the same if gender, female. I should continue doing that. So these are the things. So sometimes we have to be careful how we treat our women in our homes, how we treat our sisters, because if you cannot treat your wife with the good care, or your sister, trust me, you are going to be so different. And sometimes the community, the environment grow up in, the environment, sometimes like most of the people that grow up, I'm sorry I'm about this as an example, but most of the people that grow up in West Point, you notice that they like yes, it's serious. You notice that they like fighting, they like violence. Yes, they always like that. So sometimes the community, the environment, when you know that the environment is not safe for your kid, the environment is not safe for your family, have to move right away, because these are the things that causes violence. And sometimes the internet, the phones we have, the smartphones, you have kids looking at, take for example this WWE, what people are doing, rising and fighting, sometimes we see it as a means like, this is something that I need to be doing. At the end of the day, you take it to your home, it's bad. We should stop. And sometimes I'll go to the third one, is it has to do with experiencing abuse or neglect. Sometimes when we are abused or we have neglected, we feel that we have to put it on somebody, most especially women, because women are victimized to these things. We have been victims to so many, different things. It's not just only SGBV, which is sexual gender violence, but it's just that we have to talk about only that tonight. So another one is having access to weapons. Like for in America, you have people like 18-year-old having gun. So if I'm in a home, or if I'm living on my own, where I have to bring in a wife, or somebody to get married to, and at the end of the day, I have weapon. Once I tell the person do this, and if the person does not do that, and I will just have to collect my weapon and be like, go ahead and do this. And if I say no, you will beat me right away. So another one has to do with the mental problem. Some of us, we get vexed easily, and our anger, we cannot control it. So we see that as I mean, how can you not even control your anger? At the end of the day, you see a female, to to just beat on her unmercifully. Like, you have sometimes you even beat the person till the person died. I mean, how does that feel? How do you feel beat or him that you cannot create till the person die? So sometimes our mental problem, health, issues, and our anger, it leads to that. Another one has to do with our involvement with drugs or tobacco. We put our hands in taking drugs, taking substances that's not even good and suitable for the body. At the end of the day, because once somebody take drugs in, they are no more themselves. They are absolutely no more themselves. Anything they do now, they don't know what they're doing. Take for instance the little girl at my age, 18, below my age, 17, 16, that are getting married to the one we call in Liberia Zogos. You can see that environment where at the end of the day they will take in drugs, and they will start to be violent on the female that they have within their house, within the community. Another one has to do with early child marriage, where we see it as a means that they try to go on their own and take a full responsibility of the family. Sometimes it's not even on their own, but they will be in their house, and then somebody who is 10 years, 15 years older than that kid, they'll be like, this is your husband, you have to get married to him. Sometimes, well, you not, like you said, you have to go. You don't have option. At that moment, your decision does not matter. You have to take it the way parents or that individual want it to be. So early child marriage can lead to causes of violence. And another one has to do with, lastly, it has to do with poverty. We are poor. We think that we not put our leg, even if our $50, we cannot put it into something and generate money from that, so our children can be able to eat, go to school on that. We feel that since I have, take for instance, since I have Nancy here, she's 19 now, she need to get married and start feeding me. I have like talking. I have been through a lot, and I feel you that time for you to feed me, you have to. So they're not looking at nurses. They have to get her PhD or master degree or BSc, and become somebody the kind of person she want to be for tomorrow. So yeah, so these are some of the causes that lead, to violence against us women. And I will now talk about the effects of violence against women. One,
Hmm.
it has to do with suicide. Because of this, we commit suicide, and some of us we get tired of being abused by male. So at the end of that, be like, I cannot complete this, I cannot end this, I cannot, keep on living my life with fear. So let me just end my life, let it just stay. Like burn people, let it just stay one time. Let me kill myself. At the end of the day, commit suicide. And another one could be physical injuries, where you will have bruises all over your face, your body. At the end of the day, sometimes you can't even see from your other eye. You'll be using one eyeball to see. Sometimes you see your whole face is spoiling, your body has spoiled because every time somebody gets into alcohol, somebody have experienced abuse, somebody have they have access to weapons, that mental weapons, that mental problem, anger, all of that, it becomes a problem. You see your body is spoiled. Another one has to do with unwanted pregnancies. Some of the effects that has to do with violence, unwanted pregnancies, most especially the ladies, teenagers, we getting pregnant because of that. And another one has to do with we have been exposed to HIV or AIDS and other sexual transmitted infections or diseases. Because take for instance, if I tell you say, if you can allow me access to you, I will tell you, and you be like the fear, and he already beats you at the end of the day, want to have sex with you, and he's not using condom. Trust me, it's not safe. You're gonna be affected by that. And something has to do with traumatic stress disorder, that is PTSD. That means the way our brain's supposed to work, it's not working like that. And the way our brain's supposed to function, it will not function like that. We will be traumatized. We will grow up in fear. We will live in fear. Some of us will even die in fear. Second to the last has to do with death. They beat us till we die. They drink alcohol, come home, beat us till we die. They, because of their anger, they do things. Sometimes people will even they will just get angry and take something that they're not supposed to join you with it. Take for instance, I get angry and come home as a man. My wife is, she's home up because you call her, she didn't pick up. Just an example. You come home and just take some, something like a knife or something, just throw it at her. She died. At the end of the day, it result to death. The last has to do with depression. Lastly, we will talk about the prevention. How can we females stop these things from happening to us? How can we stop these things from happening to us? So there are so many ways to stop violence, against women. One, we have to be educated. Because if you are educated and know that you have the right to go to school, you have the right to travel, you have the right to be an officer, you have the right to be an engineer, you have the right to be an advocate, you have the right to be a lawyer. There's no way someone who is uneducated will come and tell you, say, look, you can't go to school. Then you say, yeah, I can. No. Because for the fact that you already have something upstairs, you'd be like, no, Who are you to tell me not to go to school? And that's another one. And then we ladies, we have to speak out. We have to speak up. We have to take the step. Know that this is not good for me. I cannot live in this situation. Once this man have insulted me, trust me, it will lead him to violence one day. I cannot stay in this relationship. It's not safe for me. I cannot stay in this environment, this community, this home is not safe for me. I have to find somewhere better to go. I have to find somewhere where I will come up for someone will say, look, this girl, I respect her. She's so decent. She's intelligent. So that all the praises will go to me. We have to learn how to do that, or else we may be infected by all of the things I've just listed. We may die. We may suffer from depression, mental health, and all of these things. We have to speak out. Know what is right. Know what good for you. Another one has to do with know the issues, know the sound. For example, if you think, for example, if I marry somebody and a man raise his hand at me like want to slap me, and I'll be like, wow, if this man just raise his hands and want to slap me, you be thinking ahead like, think the next one he will complete what he just did, like raising up his hands. Do you think that he will complete it? I mean, he will complete it next time. And if he complete it, the next one has to do with where your face will start spoiling. Original one, where it will beat you. You say you'll get ugly now. You will hate yourself. You now won't see yourself. So you have to know the sounds, know the issues, and then we have to create more awarenesses in our community, in our country, in the rural areas. Because once you are aware of these things, you will stay. I mean, you will stay away from it. You will know that once this person is violent, I cannot go around that person. And we have to involve boys and men. We have to get you involved into it. We have to educate you on it so you'll be able to protect us, not to beat us. Yeah, so once you guys have knowledge about these things, you will be able to stand up for us too. Like, for example, take the issues of menstruation. Sometimes in schools or even in the community, you see a girl on her period, her bloody on her clothes, and at the end of the day, it's boys laughing. And take instance if you have 10 or 5 boys laughing, and then you have 2 boys coming who have the idea of when a girl on her period, we're not supposed to laugh at her, but rather protect her from, a very safe space for her, so that we'll be able to help her in the process clean herself, And when the boys they're laughing, you just walk there and be like, my man, this is not nice. We all have sisters, we all have mothers. It could be in our shoe one day. When something like this happening to a girl, we just need to find somewhere good that she will stay. And then even if you're not able, find a female that will help her in the process instead of bullying her. So right there, they have the message. When somebody try to do it again, they will be the one to say, my man, stop. You can't do that to a lady, And another one has to do, we should stop early child marriage. Do not get their children involved with that. And we as a ladies, we should know our moral value, know what we stand for. Our yes should be yes, our no should be no. We should know what we want, where we want to be, where we want to go in the next few months, 2 years, And lastly, we should know that we can be whatever we want when we're determined, focused. So I want to say very big thank you for listening. And before I turn over to you, the host, I want to leave a few messages with not only the ladies, but also men. Like I said, you have to protect us, you have to be with us in the process. So we are all intelligent, we are all brilliant, we are all smart. We have to stay focused. Like I said, know what you want. If you take anything from my presentation, this is it. Know what you want. Know what you stand for. Know your moral value. Your yes should be your yes. Your no should be your no. Thank you.